Hello friends on Facebook, my name is Jonathan Sugai, and are you feeling a little tight and tense from being cooped up in your house all week? Because you've been sitting and worrying about, the whole coronavirus situation? Well, how about we do something about it now? How would you love to feel better doing some simple stretches that you will feel the difference in a matter of minutes? So, I'd love to share with you some of the stretches that I've been using that help you to align and center and release the tension out of your body. And as a massage therapist, I've been practicing for over almost 20 years now. I've been perfecting these stretches with my clients. So I've actually been testing them on my clients, and I practice shiatsu, which is Japanese acupressure. And shiatsu is known for being painful. What I discovered in the past few years as I've been developing, researching stretches and perfecting them and tweaking them and testing them on my clients is that the trigger points that I would find in the body, I could relieve them with the stretch. And so I realized that, those really painful pain points that accumulate in various parts of the body, in our shoulders, legs, back, it's a byproduct of not stretching. Because I would find the pain point, then I would use a targeted stretch, which I'm going to be showing with you today. And the before and after difference would be amazing. It'd go from like a 9 or a 10 down to a 4 or 5, or sometimes even less. Sometimes it would just go from feeling really painful to it feels good and it just feels like pressure when I would massage. And I could tell with my clients. I would teach my clients and empower them and hold them accountable. Because the clients that would do the stretches, they would come in with less trigger points, less intense trigger points, and they could really enjoy their massage. And they get supportive John to encourage them to keep doing it. The clients that wouldn't do it, they get challenging John, evil John, one that would find the pain points and make them stretch again. So, with that being said, I'd love to share with you some of the stretches that I do for myself and for my clients. So let's begin. Now the first stretch we're going to do is for our feet. And this is great for anybody that's ever having foot pain, and the medical term for that is plantar fasciitis. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a stretch on our foot using a simple tennis ball. So hopefully you got a tennis ball around your house. Now I recommend using a tennis ball because it gives. A golf ball is too hard. You could use like a racquetball, that blue racquetball. Maybe a ping pong ball. I don't recommend a golf ball because it's a little too hard. So hopefully you got a tennis ball. And these are recycled from my clients that love playing tennis. And these are their worn out balls, so recycling, being green, literally and figuratively. So we're going to stretch our feet. So how do we do this? You just put your tennis ball on the ground. And we're going to roll it back and forth on our foot. Back and forth for 1 minute. Let me get my timer started. And by the way, for those of you who are Apple Watch users, if you like to track your exercises and fill your exercise ring, these stretches are great to count as yoga. For me, this is like my own style of yoga. So, all right, let's begin. And actually, I want to count this today too, because I love tracking it. All right. So we're going to do 1 minute. Step on the tennis ball, and you're going to roll back and forth. And you really want to put your weight into the tennis ball. Feel it squeeze. Go back and forth to the ball of your foot, to about the front of the heel. Nice and slow. You go back and forth. Now, for those of you who are doing this for the first time, it's probably going to be there are going to be some pain points, and that's okay. The pain points, again, are areas where tension has built up in your nervous system, in your fascia, in your muscles. It's actually an electrical charge. It's where your body stores stress. It goes unconscious. And what we're doing is we're bringing it conscious so you can breathe it out. You can regulate it. Restore balance to that area. Okay, another few more seconds. All right, that's the first minute. And I just realized I forgot to do a reach for my toes. But what happens for me, this doesn't happen for everybody. If I reach down for my toes, you would see that my arms would be even. But since I did this side, there's going to be a difference in the arm length, so watch this. Okay, my right arm it looks longer, but that's because the fascia in the foot, the connective tissue, is connected through all the other muscles, so loosening it up down here actually loosened up my entire body all the way up to my shoulder. So this is actually helps to release some of the shoulder tension. So as you can see, there's a difference in my arms. Now I'm going to do the other side and you'll see it even out. Okay, so let's do the other side. Okay, just go back and forth for 1 minute. And again, you're going to the ball of your foot to the front of the heel, nice and slow. You want to put your weight into it, feel that ball squeeze and give. You will feel trigger points if this is your first time or the first few times you do it. The more you do it though, it'll smooth out. And if you keep doing it and then you all of a sudden, you've been doing it for a while and you find some real tense pain, reflect on, what were you doing with your feet that day? You might have been standing a lot. You might have been walking around a lot. You might have been leaning off to the side. If you get really present, really lean into the pain and feel into the pain, you actually start to remember exactly when and where the pain occurred. And that actually helps you release it. Because again, the pain that we feel in our body is stress that has gone unconscious. And so it builds up. It becomes baggage. And so this is a way of letting go of the baggage. You've got to bring it conscious, regulate it, breathe it, and release it. Okay, that's the minute is done. So now let's test. Okay, so now you can see my hands are even, and I can actually get my knuckles further down. This feels looser already, but we will stretch the back of my legs in a little bit. So again, this is tennis ball stretch for the plantar fascia. Really simple. Find a tennis ball. Okay, so the next area we're going to stretch is the quads. So our quads, our thighs, build up a lot of tension. It's actually one of the largest muscles in our lower body. And they really work hard for us. We take them for granted. They do a lot. They're involved in moving and walking around. And they do it tirelessly and they don't complain. But they do take on a lot of tension. And so when my clients come in and I press on their thighs, quite a few of them want to jump off the table. And what I found is that this all the tension that builds up in the thighs actually shows up as back pain. So the lower back tends to get tight because the tension is building up here. And if there's a lot of tension building up here, then the function of the quads go down. And so your legs aren't holding your body up as well. And so the back actually has to tighten up in response to slow you down, because often when people come in with lower back pain, one of the complaints is that it's hard to get out of bed and they have trouble walking. But they come in saying, oh, my back, my back's hurting, I threw out my back. Which, that's the symptom, but not the cause. The cause is actually the overuse of the legs and the overloading of the legs. So whenever anyone comes in with back pain, I definitely check the quads. And most of the time I find that the quads are extremely tight. So let's stretch the quads. Okay, so this stretch is going to look like this, but we're going to be laying on our sides. And the reason why I prefer doing it that way is, again, because we want to actually reduce the strain out of our legs without actually straining our legs. So here's a great way to do it. So I'm going to show you two ways. For those who are not as flexible, who are just starting out, probably not going to be able to bend your leg as far back. So we can use a couch, and you lay on your side like this. And you pull your leg back, and you use the back of the couch to hold your leg so you don't end up straining your shoulder. So you can just really focus on stretching the quad. And yes, this is going to probably be of a long first minute. So let's begin for those of you who are doing it for the first time. Because again, you're making up for decades worth of not stretching. But you're going to feel a lot of tension in this area. You'll be surprised at how much is in there. But the cool part is once you start to release it, your leg will feel so much lighter, and your back will be able to start to relax, because your back tightening up on you is a feature, not a bug. Your back tightening up on you is a feature, not a bug. It's feedback. It's trying to slow you down. That's why any disease is actually designed to moderate behavior and try to give you feedback. So if you've been overworking by standing around too much or walking around too much or sitting too much, a lot of tension builds up in the legs, and you'll often feel it in the back. So back pain is often overstressed legs, either too much movement, lack of movement, or a combination of the two. Sometimes you can burn the candle at both ends. Okay, so that's the first minute. Okay, so that's one way of doing it on the couch. Now for advanced stretchers, so individuals who do yoga a lot, or just maybe naturally flexible, but even the naturally flexible can build up tension. I still find trigger points, even if they're flexible. You can do it lying down on the floor or on a bed. So get this position. So you can do the same thing, but lying down on the floor or a flat surface. Bend your leg back like this, and then you can lean back and stretch this way. Now some of you will have to earn your way here. So I've been doing these stretches for a few years now. But when you get here, it's pretty cool. Get a really nice deep stretch. While you're doing this, you want to breathe in deeply. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 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 Okay. So those are the two ways to stretch your quad, my two preferred ways. And again, it looks like this. So if you're in a pinch, let's say you don't have a couch, you're on the ground, you could do this. Just make sure you're holding onto something. That would be like the third way, but my least preferred way. I prefer to be able to lie down on your side or lie down on the ground. And so again, the side will be for individuals who are just starting out and not as flexible. And this, if the couch is narrow, you probably want to do it on your bed, and you can do it against the wall. So like this couch, I got this quickly because we can open it up. And this is the other way you could do it, against the wall. So let's say, you're closer to like a little, maybe a 90 degree or a little past 90 degrees, you can still stretch this way by putting your foot up against the wall. Okay? All right. So now the next stretch, we're going to stretch our hamstrings. Hamstrings, back of the knee, and the calves. Okay. Now this stretch was inspired by the channel Athlean X, really cool channel on YouTube, and the YouTuber. I saw this stretch a few years ago, and actually this is one of the stretches that got me inspired, and this is one of the stretches I tried out, and I was like, wow, this one really makes a difference. Okay, so for this stretching the hamstring, the back of the knees, and the calves, all you need is a wall. And actually, let me adjust that a bit. I'm going to use this wall here. Okay, and we're going to stretch the right leg first. If you have a floor, you want to find some kind of pad. So I have this rubber pad here. You could use a slipper or something to cushion your heel, or just wear your shoes. So, and I'm in Hawaii, so we tend to be barefooted indoors, but on the mainland you probably have shoes on. So you want to have something to protect your heel. Okay, so you're going to put your foot up against the wall. dorsiflexed. Okay, you want your foot and toes up at an angle, and by pulling your foot back, by leaning up against up of the wall, it pulls the fascia. Again, remember that fascia is connected right through your leg, all the way up through your back, and all the way up to the shoulders, so this helps with the shoulders too. Dorsiflex your foot up against the wall, you lock your knee, and you're going to tilt your pelvis forward towards the foot that's against the wall. Now the left foot, you want to make sure you're nice and wide and deep. Okay, be nice and wide and deep. Watch yourself, catch yourself if you're having a narrow stance. Okay, I'm not surprised that a number of individuals have a narrow stance, which is unstable. You want to have a nice wide stance, which is more stable. Okay, and then when you scoot your foot back, you're going to have a nice wide, deep stance. The back foot is going to be, you're going to put your, be on the ball of your foot, lift the heel off the ground with the knee slightly bent. The right leg, the knee is locked, and you lean forward, and as you lean forward, you're going to feel a really nice stretch in the calf, back of the knee, and the hamstring. And this clears up all the trigger points that build up back there. So we're leaning towards the wall, and then you're going to put your hands up on the wall, push in and lean in. And let me get my timer started. You want to get your hands above your head, push in and lean in. Make sure your weight is forward towards the wall, towards the leg that's against the wall. In this case, it's the right leg. And you're going to feel that stretch right up the back of your calf, behind the knee, and the hamstring. And then with your hands above your head, against the wall, this actually starts to stretch your shoulders. You start to release some of the tension in your shoulders. And actually on the inside of your shoulders, underneath the scapula, inside your armpit, inside the deltoids, where a lot of tension builds up. And we can't really get to them manually. So we can stretch through those areas. So again, you'll feel a nice stretch through your calf, back of the knee, through the hamstring. All right. Okay, that's 1 minute. Okay, so now we're going to stretch the left leg. Okay. Again, we're going to put our foot up against the wall. This way. It's going off frame. Okay. So let's say you don't have wall space, and actually this is perfect. You can use a door. Okay. Put your foot up against the door. Okay. Again, lock the knee, foot's dorsiflex. Nice wide deep stance. Back leg, so my right leg, knee is slightly bent. I'm on the ball of my foot with the heel off the ground so I can lean forward. Okay. Timer started, hands above my head, push and lean. Again, left knee is locked, right knee is slightly bent. Right foot is I'm on the ball of my foot with the heel off the ground so I can really lean forward. I'm tilting my pelvis forward and really leaning in. You want to lean into the pain. You have to lean into your pain so you can work through the pain. Find the pleasure in the pain. And as you breathe in and be present with the pain and the tension, finding the pleasure in it, you equilibrate it, you neutralize it, and you integrate it. And you feel lighter. You're actually creating light in your mind, in your psyche, in your body, even on a quantum level. Okay. All right. So that was a minute, and that was the hamstring stretch. And this is great for tight calves, tight hamstrings. It's even great for knee pain. A lot of knee pain, the tension accumulates in the back of the knee. And clients often complain of feeling it in the front, but they feel like it's on the inside, which means when I touch the back of the knee, they again, almost jump off the table. And my prescription for that is to stretch it out. We stretch it, we go back on the table, check it out again, and often the pain drops by about 50%. So, and then they can handle the manual work afterwards. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to stretch is our glutes. Okay, so this is the glute and piriformis stretch. Now for this one, we're going to go, there's two ways we can do it. So I'm going to show you the two methods. So one, you can do sitting. Okay, so you sit. So this is perfect for individuals who are sitting a lot, and if you're in an office situation, which many of you probably aren't, so now you're at home sitting. We're going to do the right glute first, the right cheek. You put your right calf and foot and leg over your left, like this. You cross your legs, and what you do is you lean forward. And just lean forward and just kind of surrender downwards. Let gravity pull you downwards. And kind of push into it too. Oh, I think my watch thought I fell. Okay, anyway. Lean forward. And lean into the pain. You're going to feel it deep inside. This is great for anybody who has butt pain, also known as sciatica or piriformis syndrome. This also helps to release some tension out of the hamstring too. I was actually having some tension in my left hamstring on the outside, and I found that this stretch really helped release some of that tension there, because I've been sitting a little bit more lately. So leaning forward, releasing the tension out of the glute and the piriformis. Okay. All right. So you can do it sitting down. Now the other method you can do is do it lying down. So we're going to do the left glute. You put your left leg over the right leg, and you pull with your legs and pull with your hands towards your chest and face, like so. Set my timer. Okay, and you pull your legs with your legs and your arms, and you pull it towards your face and your chest. You're going to feel the tension right in this area. Release. Yeah, you feel it become conscious. So even if your butt isn't hurting, you bring that tension that has been accumulating there, conscious. And you get to start to regulate it, integrate it, release it, whatever you want to call it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. All right. So that was the piriformis and glute stretch. Again, you can do it sitting or lying down. And this is great for any kind of sciatica symptoms or any kind of pelvis pain. And this also helps the back too, because again, if the lower body is loaded with tension, the functionality goes down, and the back is going to tighten up in order to give you feedback to let you know to slow down and try to get your attention to start to do something about your lower body. So here's something you can do for yourself on your own. And if you're seeing a therapist, if you do this in between your treatments, you get even better results with whoever you're seeing for whatever work you're doing. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Okay, so now we're going to start to work on the upper body. Okay, so now the upper body for clients that have neck and shoulder tension, one of the areas where the tension builds up the most is actually right over here, right in the rotator cuff area, which is the supraspinatus and infraspinatus and teres and rear deltoid. This area, a lot of tension builds up. Okay, so I recently figured out how to stretch that area. And so this stretch looks like a tricep stretch, but I added a little twist to it. Okay, so what you do is we're going to do the left side. We're going to bend the left arm, bend the elbow, and what you're going to do is you're actually going to pull to the right with your right arm and hand. Make sure you have a nice wide stance. You're going to pull to the right, and we're also going to lean. So we're pulling and leaning. Let me set my timer. Okay, we're going to pull and lean to the opposite side. And you're going to feel the stretch right through the tricep. You're going to feel it in the rotator cuff area, right near your armpit, on the shoulder blade. And you're going to feel it propagate down the left side of your body, down your ribs, and all the way down to your hips. Okay, you want to pull and lean. And in this one, you may feel your hand get all tingly. It might go numb. It might get hot or cold. You might be feeling both, and that's fine because we're actually applying pressure to the nerves that go from your neck and shoulder all the way down to your hands, and that's fine because we're actually releasing a lot of the electrical charge, a lot of the tension that accumulates from us holding our arms out. And there's probably a lot more of that since there's going to be a lot more people at their computers. Okay. And it is going to be a little sore coming out of it. So you just come out real slow and then just kind of shake it off. Move your arm around. The symptoms will eventually calm down and you're going to actually feel a lot lighter. Might feel a little achy if this is your first time, but that's okay because again, you're becoming aware of all the tension that's accumulated in this area. And what I love about this stretch is that it gets all the stuff that's inside here. Okay? So now, let's do the right side. Okay? So we're going to bend our arm. Let me set the timer. And we're going to lean to the opposite side. Now I am using my selfie camera, so this is in reverse. If you want the actual way it looks, I will post this on YouTube, so I'll post the link in the notes below. Okay, we're going to lean and pull. Again, you're going to feel the stretch through the tricep, through the shoulder blade, down the side of the body. Again, we're pulling and leaning, pulling and leaning. Again, you may feel your hand go tingly, numb. You're going to feel there'll be all kinds of feels. And that's okay. We're bringing all that tension that's accumulated in your hard-working arms and shoulders that we've been taking for granted, showing them some love. Okay. And then come out of it nice and slow. And then kind of shake it off. Yeah, and this is my first stretch for today, so it definitely helps release some of the tension from getting ready this morning. All right. And I have tested this with my clients, and so the clients that again want to jump off the table, I have them do this stretch. And they go back on the table, I press on it again, they go, oh wow, that feels much better. And then it allows me to go deeper. And then so I'm able to actually press harder, but now they can handle the pressure, and we really do a deep release. So it actually, if you use this with manual therapy, so for those of you who love foam rolling or are working with a therapist, if you find the trigger point, and it's really intense, do the stretch. Stretch it out first, then go back to doing your manual therapy, whether it's on your own or with a therapist. And you're going to find that you can handle more pressure and you can go a lot deeper. Because again, this is the stuff you can take care of on your own. So you might as well do it because you got the time. And now many of us are going to have lots of time. So now's the time for self-care. One of the reasons why we even catch a cold or get sick is because we've been neglecting ourselves. And so we get forced into resting. So might as well take the time to take care of ourselves. If you're taking care of yourself, getting enough rest, drinking enough water, focusing on priority, living by your highest values, managing your thinking, managing your emotions, eating well, your chances at being well are greater, and it enhances your immunity. Your immune system's stronger if you're managing your stress. If you're not taking care of yourself, you're vulnerable, and so it increases the probability that if you catch the virus, when you catch the virus, your symptoms are going to be much more intense, and that's the difference. They're noticing that 80% of the people who do catch the virus actually have mild symptoms. So those are the people who are probably, if we were to check and ask them and look at their lives and what they're doing, they're probably doing pretty good. Whereas the 20% that have acute symptoms, percentage that end up having really serious symptoms or dying, they already had some pre-existing conditions like heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and whatever else. Any kind of chronic condition, again, which is a lifestyle disease. You're not taking care of yourself, not living by priority, not eating well, not managing your thinking, not managing your emotions, living by other people's values. Your risk is higher. Your vulnerability is higher. So anything you can do to take care of yourself will help. And especially now, this is the time to really focus on priority, really focus on what matters most by taking care of yourself now. So, all right, that was a little bit of my soapbox there. So now we're going to do one more stretch for the shoulders. And this stretch is going to be against the wall here. So let me adjust this back. Okay. And so for this stretch, I call this the shoulder scapula lift. Okay. And for those of you who do yoga, this is actually going to kind of look like a downward dog against the wall. So you put your hands up against the wall. Let me get my timer set. Actually, let's do 90 seconds. Put your hands up against the wall. You want to anchor into the wall, push in and lean in, and then you want your body to be about arm's length, a little past arm's length back, and you kind of make your body into an L. You push in and lean in, and by anchoring in, it's as if the wall is pulling your arms and your shoulders up while you're leaning downwards. So you're pushing and leaning downwards and kind of surrendering to the tension that you're going to feel. And this is pulling your arms and shoulders upwards and lifting your arms and lifting your scapula up and away. And what we're doing now is we're catching all the tension that's on the inside of your scapula, inside of your shoulder blades. All that sticky tension that builds up from holding our arms out in front of us. Those muscles work very hard for us day in and day out. So now's the time to show them some love. Leaning into it. So you push in, lean in. Feel your body stretching, feel your arms stretching, feel your shoulders stretching. Now you can feel the tension inside of the shoulder. That's the parts I get to. Or if you're doing rolling on yourself, can't get there, but we can get there indirectly by stretching. Okay, and then you ease out of that. And it provides a nice lift. So it actually reverses this. We're going to be doing a lot of this. So by putting your hands up on the wall and letting it open up, it helps to open up the chest and reverse, counterbalance what's happening there. Okay. So that's the shoulder scapula lift stretch. And that's our last stretch for today. So just to review, each stretch you want to do, excuse me, each stretch you want to do 1 minute per side and at least 2 or 3 times a day. So again, there's the tennis ball stretch for the plantar fascia, 1 minute per side, 1 minute per side. Then we're going to stretch our quads. Again, you lay on your side, so, okay. We do 1 minute per side. We're going to do our hamstrings like this, 1 minute per side. And then we're going to stretch our glutes, either sitting, lean forward, 1 minute per side. You can lay on your back, do it this way. So, try both, see which one you like better. Then we're going to stretch our shoulders like this. Lean in, 1 minute per side. Pull and lean in, 1 minute per side. Make sure you have a nice wide stance. And then we're going to do the shoulder scapula lift. One minute for that. Now 1 minute is the sweet spot. If you have the time, you can go up to 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. But the consistency is more important than the length. So again, 1 minute is the sweet spot. And if you can do this 2 or 3 times a day, it'll really make a big difference. And in the last couple weeks, I've been taking pictures of my posture and my assistant's posture. So I'll be posting that online, and you get to see the change in our posture if you're consistent about it, doing it daily. So the other thing you can do is you can take a picture of your body, and I'll show you how to do that. I'll have another post about that, and you can see the difference over the days and weeks if you're consistent about it. Okay, so I'd love to thank you for making some time to join me, whether it was live or on the replay. It's my honor and privilege to be able to share these stretches with you, and especially at this time. What better time to really get this stuff out there so that we can make a difference for people in this time of great challenge. And stay tuned if you want to be able to see when I do live broadcasts. I'll be doing more live broadcasts over the next few days, weeks, however long this situation's going on. And make sure you turn on notifications so you're notified when I'm online. And then also you can visit my website, the Alignment Center for Body and Mind, hialignmentcenter.com, and sign up for my mailing list there. And you'll see some other content and some other stuff that I'll be posting and taking advantage of this opportunity to embrace the online world and sharing content and sharing information that can be useful, again, during this time of challenge. But there's much opportunity to be able to do some self-care, take care of things that we haven't been taking care of and been, not dealing with, focusing on priority, and continuing to daily find the blessings, and keep asking the question: how is this challenge benefiting us? How is it serving us? What's the opportunity in it? What are we getting to do differently? And what were the drawbacks of what we were doing? What were some of the problems that we weren't dealing with? Or what are some things we just need to let go of? Those are some quality questions you can ask yourself, which I learned from my mentor, Dr. John DeMartini. And I'll be doing some live streams, sharing some of the knowledge and exercises from that world. Because again, our mindset, managing our thinking and emotions are going to be a big part of making it through, again, what we're all going through. So again, thank you for joining me. And again, I'll see you next time. Bye.